I was just about to make $100,000 per year, just after a couple of years of working experience as an employee for a bank in Switzerland. For most people it's a dream job, and I honestly thought that I had it all. Just about to earn more than my parents ever could have dreamt of while being just 22 years old. I was putting myself in a pretty solid spot for climbing up that corporate ladder rather fast, potentially earning me more than $200,000 per year. But I've quit and left everything behind. Let me explain you why I've decided to take that risk and the lessons I've learned over those last 7 years since I've been working there. Let me share you 2 personal experiences which really have struck me during that time. First and foremost, 4 years ago when a good work colleague of mine decided to take his life. The reason: he felt bored of the repetitive life he had with school and work. I had many conversations with him and I never thought that there were suicidal thoughts behind it. But nothing really changed when he left this world. Everything stayed the same, making me think and realize that I as an individual at my workplace will be replaced in no time, no matter in what position I am in, because the business has to run even without me. But the even more heartbreaking incidents were the times when my mom or my dad rang me up from the restaurant. There were evenings where they didn't have a lot of people, so they rang me up and asked me in the kindest voice if I wanted any food or if I wanted to quickly come over to get some dinner, as it was getting late at work. And instead of being happy about that phone call, I was most of the times frustrated, telling them that I don't have time, telling my parents who left their home country and investing every single penny into my well-being and my education that I don't have time. I'm still feeling ashamed to this date about those incidents, because it still happened recently, but I knew it was a wake-up call for me. What am I doing? Working longer for my employer to resend some random e-banking contracts to our customers because some ticks were missing, and creating YouTube videos every single evening and on the weekend. I knew with that wake-up call that I had to make a proper decision now. Lesson number 1. I don't know if you've heard about the big bank takeover from Credit Suisse by the UBS. The second biggest bank in Switzerland got a reputation damage because of few employees and leaders from the investment banking segment, which led to the fact that the bank nearly had to shut down. UBS, the biggest bank in Switzerland, saved Credit Suisse and took over the bank. The consequence was mass layoffs. Imagine working for your employer so hard for those last 40 years and just on a random day in 2023, your employer decides to lay off people and you are one of the people who has to leave. I am lucky enough that I didn't choose to do my apprenticeship there, but on my list back then it was my second choice. 2 days before this incident happened, I've decided to hand in my resignation anyways, teaching me that I'll be replaceable no matter how good of a job I'll do, and that my permanent job is actually not as permanent as I thought. Just a couple of more incidents in the already very criticized banking sector and I could be out. The chances of that happening in the bank I'm working until tomorrow is pretty small, but that leads me to my second lesson. In the place where I'm working at, there are people who are doing this job for more than 40 years. I was doing my job part-time, as I'm doing my bachelor's degree in a part-time study and helping my parents with their restaurant business. Last year, before I've decided to start this YouTube channel, I reduced my 90% part-time job to 80%, which is equivalent to a 34 hours work week combined with a roughly 30 hours study week. At my workplace, I got to hear comments saying like, what am I doing with that extra afternoon? Chilling? Why do you need that extra afternoon off in the first place? Typical Gen Z mindset, as people would say. Anyways, it's the same people who complain about their lives, working day in and day out to finally get to the weekend, simply to start it all over again on Monday and complain about how short their weekends were, teaching me simply the lesson that if I don't take any steps to pursue my own dreams, my employer will for sure take advantage of me to pursue their dreams. At that time, people didn't really knew that I was trying things at the side. But that afternoon really gave me the opportunity to learn new skills and invest my time into other areas of my life. It really helped me to rethink my decisions about why people work in the first place. The social pressure is obvious because people have to work in order to sustain their lives. But the emotional pressure, that really resonated with me. As my parents are immigrants, and knowing that they did everything in their power to get me to this prestige job made me question a lot my decision I've made. But in both of these cases you work because you have to. The worst reason, but that's what most people do. Now my sister, for example, wants to be a doctor. So for her it's the purpose and the positive impact she can make while being able to heal patients and help people. Based on the stories I've heard, working in such a high stress environment and also going through that high demanding education is hardly enjoyable. But she's doing it. Why? Because she values the results and impact she can have on other people's lives. Now personally I've realized that it wouldn't be optimal either for me. Now I chose my path to get a banker because I used to like maths when I was 14 years old and I knew it was a well-paying job. I was interested in numbers at that time and I thought the only way to make money is go through the whole education system and getting a job because that's what my parents told me. I was simply doing what was expected and required from me. I was sitting in the car and it was driving on autopilot. But in my job right now, I miss my personal purpose. I love analyzing companies and provide solutions to customers. But I don't have any freedom because nearly everything in my day is set by internal or external regulations. The only thing I do most of the times is running behind our customers to get those regulation documents up to date. On the other hand, I am checking if the customer's finances are fitting into those regulatory requirements to give out loans. I ask myself a simple question. Except the high salary in the industry, what value am I adding to society? Am I working to finance these housing and stock market bubbles? Or am I working to increase companies' production values and new technologies? Am I really making a more positive impact on other individuals in this world or not? If I'm being absolutely honest with you, I didn't really know. So the answer is no. It's the work that seems like play, which is the greatest motive and also the most powerful driver for success and high performance. I was putting up a mask for work and hardly had any energy left when I got back home. I'm seen as a very calm and introverted person, but back home I've started to get a very short temper with my family, and when people ask me about work, I told them it's fine or I'm doing okay, trying to push the conversation away. It took me 3 years to realize this, teaching me as long as you don't do anything, you'll end up in the exact same spot you are in right now. Now coming back to that extra afternoon, I finally gained excitement in my life, which was fading away in my day job. The creativity part was missing completely in my job. For expressing my creativity and sharing lessons and knowledge to people in my videos does give me the sense of purpose and impact that I can make on society as a whole. Being honest with people and sharing the truth, helping people to make financially wise decisions, because there are so many crap gurus out there giving financial advice in a field they have never had prior experience in. Most of them seem like big scammers. Maybe you think that I am one too. Please let me know if I do. Now the biggest question you might ask yourself, can I sustain my life through creating these videos? Not yet, but working my job for quite a long period of time now helped me to have a few years in savings in my pocket, giving me the opportunity to take the dark path. You can work as hard as you want to, do everything your employer tells you to do, and outperform all of your colleagues. But one thing which will be always limited in this world is time. No one can and will buy back time. Being locked up in our houses gave me the opportunity to think about that. That's also when the digital world started to boom. I was quite resistant to it. I honestly thought it's only about some random dances, vines, and dumb challenges. But I started to understand the bigger picture out of it. I actually started to seek value out of these tools. I mean, I didn't know how to edit or film videos, but I've learned everything through the internet. That's also where I've learned my third lesson. If I work for my employer, I get compensated for the amount of hours I work for the company. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis for your company? You're providing your time to your employer, create value in some aspect, which is greater for the company than your own salary. That's the same with any company and business out there. The same with this YouTube platform. I mean, my videos are not entertaining and educational enough that people are interested in it. And it really doesn't matter if it's education or entertainment. But that's what I get compensated for currently. That's $0. Does that mean it's impossible to understand how providing value can first of all help people and on the other hand help me to sustain my own life? Absolutely not. It's also a skill that I have to, and I get better video after video. On YouTube, for example, my time isn't limited. It means I can leverage the skills and scale up the value I'm bringing to the table. Plus, people can watch the videos long after, which means I can get compensated for the value I provide a few years later, which is not limited by time or my input. The only thing I have to do is bring value to the table. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Now, is it dumb that I've quit my job without having a real backup plan? It's scary, but the guilt I would have 10 years later that I didn't try and give it my all would be much more scary. There is a shortage of employees in general, and the boomers are about to be retired, meaning the shortage will not disappear tomorrow. So why shouldn't I give it a shot? Because I am certain that I have the opportunity to learn any skill out there, for quote-unquote free, because I have a laptop and an internet connection. The only thing I have to do is separate the good stuff from the bad stuff. Creating and posting this video needed a lot of courage for me. I am telling you, simply quitting your job will not make life easier. Make sure when you quit that you run towards and not running away from something. And for most people, taking the safe route is the best choice. So take the information from my perspective, not yours. This is me quitting my job after working 7 years in the corporate world and having enough financial savings to fall back on for at least the next 2 years. I'm a very security-driven person, but right now I don't have any kids or financial responsibilities, which means this is the only time in my life where I can try things out, and I honestly don't know if it's the right move. Only time will tell. But I've decided to take the dark path, where I'm stepping into the unknown, not knowing if I receive a paycheck at the end of the month or not. I've been doing YouTube for nearly 1.5 years now. This whole entrepreneurial journey is and will be a very lonely path. If you've made it this far, I know there are a lot of thoughts running through your head right now. Go figure out what you want to learn and ask yourself, are you running towards something or are you running away from your job? Shoot me a message if you have any questions or need help. I am happy to give you my neutral opinion. I need to give credits to Stefanovic and Vincent, from whom I've got the video idea from. I'm not gonna lie. But I went through these experiences myself, and these stories I've told you really stuck with me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you watch this video next, where I did a 30 days push-up challenge, not only transforming my body, but training my mental resilience.